Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you could completely change how you understand attraction. Most men spend their entire lives running after women, going out of their way, pleading for attention, only to be left feeling disappointed, lost, and alone. But what if I told you there's a hidden trigger in every woman's mind? A psychological switch that, when activated, makes her want to chase you? And what if I said the men who figure this out don't just attract more women? They earn respect, ignite obsession, and control the whole dynamic without needing to say a thing. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about playing games. This is the real, uncensored truth about how female desire actually works. And once you understand it, attraction will never be a struggle again. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal 3 psychological secrets. Secrets that separate the men women put up with from the ones they can't stop thinking about. These same secrets have created powerful empires, ruined relationships, and turned ordinary men into unforgettable figures throughout history. And they aren't just based on guesses. They come from science, not opinion. But here's the warning. What you're about to learn will go against almost everything you've been told about love and dating. And once you've seen it, you can never go back to being the clueless, needy version of yourself. So if you're ready to access the force that makes women desire you, value you, and compete to be part of your life, then don't even think about looking away. Because this is the moment your real journey starts. Let's start with something basic. Something so deeply rooted in human nature that if you ignore it, you'll keep struggling with women no matter how hard you try. And that is this. Women don't fall in love with you because of what you own. They don't fall for you because of what you accomplish. They fall for you because of how you make them feel. This isn't some shallow pickup trick. This is backed by psychology. This is biology. This is how humans are wired. Think about it. When a woman remembers the men who truly impacted her life, who does she recall? The guy who spent money on fancy dinners? The one who gave her endless praise? Or the man who made her heartbeat race? The one who kept her on her toes? The one who awakened something in her that she couldn't quite explain? That's the real difference between a man who just passes through her life and a man who becomes part of her emotional history. So why are feelings more powerful than logic when it comes to attraction? Because emotions are the language of the subconscious mind. You could explain to a woman all day why you're a great guy, reliable, successful, kind, but if she doesn't feel it, none of it matters. The heart doesn't respond to facts. It reacts to experiences. It reacts to tension. It reacts to the excitement of not knowing what will happen next. That's why so many nice guys get ignored. Not because kindness is weak, but because they don't understand what truly creates attraction. They think, if I show her I care enough, if I stay loyal, she'll realize I'm the one. But desire doesn't work like that. It's not a trade. It's not about being fair. It's about stirring something inside her that she can't push away. So what's the emotion that sparks this reaction? It's anticipation. It's the sense that there's something deeper about you, something she can't fully figure out. When she feels that unpredictability, when she senses that there's more beneath the surface, you become magnetic. She starts to think about you. She starts to invest emotionally. And once she's emotionally involved, that's when true attraction kicks in. This isn't about tricking her. It's about understanding how people are drawn to what challenges them, not just what comforts them. A relationship built only on comfort becomes dull. But one filled with mystery, tension, and space for her imagination to fill in the blanks, that's the kind of connection that stays exciting. So ask yourself this. Are you just another routine part of her life? Or are you someone who brings something deeper? Because if you want to be unforgettable, that's the question you need to answer. Once you get that, everything shifts. Now go and give her something real to feel. Now let's talk about one of the most silent yet damaging killers of attraction. Something so subtle most men don't even see it happening until it's too late. I'm talking about predictability. The quiet and slow death of mystery. The moment a woman feels like she's figured you out completely, that's when you become replaceable. Why? Because humans, especially women, are wired to seek newness, challenge, and emotional stimulation. Once you become predictable, you take all that away. Think about how boredom works in the brain. When something becomes too routine, too easy to understand, the brain stops paying attention. It's not your fault, it's just how the mind works. Dopamine, the chemical linked to pleasure and motivation, isn't triggered by what's familiar. It's triggered by what's new, what's unknown, what keeps the brain guessing. This is why repeating the same actions and conversations can slowly kill the spark. And this is why men who expose everything too fast, their thoughts, their routines, their feelings, end up being labeled as nice but forgettable. It's not that she doesn't like you. It's that there's nothing left for her to uncover. Now compare that to the kind of man who sticks in her memory. He might not be the most handsome or rich, but he knows how to hold back just enough. He doesn't flood her with messages. He doesn't confess his feelings right away. He doesn't make her the center of his universe. Instead, he leaves just enough space for her mind to wander. And that's where true attraction lives, in the unknown. It's not about lying or pretending. It's about giving her room to think, to imagine, to see what might be beneath the surface. This is why neediness is so damaging. A needy man is completely predictable. He replies right away. He changes his plans for her. He looks for constant approval. And in doing that, he removes all tension, the very thing that makes the interaction exciting. Tension doesn't mean playing games. It means being solid enough in yourself that your presence is a choice, not a desperate need. There's a big difference between saying, "I'm here because I want to be," and "I'm here because I don't want to be alone." One is attractive. The other is painful. Think of it this way. The best stories aren't the ones where everything is revealed in the first few pages. They're the ones that draw you in, that slowly reveal more as you keep reading, that make you lean in and wonder what comes next. You're writing your own story. If you give away the entire plot the first time you meet her, why should she stick around to read the rest? But if you let her discover you in layers, if she feels there's more waiting beneath what she already knows, she'll stay invested. And once a woman starts investing emotionally, everything changes. Attraction deepens. Desire grows. And suddenly, you're no longer just another guy. You're the one she can't stop thinking about. My friend, emotional attachment often starts when someone becomes the center of your world. So how do you stay away from falling into the trap of being too predictable? First, by creating a life that is so full and exciting that no single person, not even her, can fully grasp all of it. Second, by learning the skill of revealing yourself in small portions, not all at once. Let your behavior speak louder than any promises. And most importantly, keep control over your own emotions, so she never feels like she has completely figured you out. Because the moment she believes she knows everything about you, you're no longer interesting. You become familiar, and familiarity doesn't spark passion. It leads to boredom. The reality is this: predictability kills desire. If you want her to keep paying attention to you, you have to stay just out of reach of her complete understanding. Not distant, not cold, but always slightly ahead. Always giving her just enough to make her want more. That's how you stay on her mind. That's how you make sure she never stops being interested. So now, go out and give her something she can't predict. Let's get straight to what separates the men who are simply liked from the ones who are truly desired. It's the difference between being one of many options and being the one she dreams about. This isn't about being arrogant or playing childish games. It's about recognizing a basic truth in human behavior. Value is tied to rarity, whether it's real or just perceived. When you present yourself as someone who chooses, instead of someone who's always hoping to be chosen, everything shifts. Your energy shifts. The way you walk, the way you talk, it all changes. And the way women respond to you, that shifts too. Look at how we judge value in other parts of life. A rare painting can be worth millions. A special edition car becomes a collector's treasure. An exclusive club becomes desirable simply because not everyone can enter. That same rule applies to you. If you're always around, always saying yes, always acting like her attention is the best thing in your life, then you're not rare. You're easy to get. And things that are easy to get are often taken for granted. Now compare that to a man who knows his own worth. He doesn't let one woman's opinion define him. Why? Because his self-worth is strong and doesn't depend on others. He has a bigger mission, one that's more important than getting approval. He has clear boundaries. He's not begging for affection. He sets the terms. This isn't about not caring. It's about having the quiet strength of someone who knows he brings something real to the table. That kind of confidence draws people in. It creates a feeling of tension that keeps her interested. It makes her wonder, what does he know that I don't? And that question, that's what keeps her attention locked in. Here's something important to understand. Women don't test men because they're mean. They test men because nature wired them to look for strength. When she pulls away a little, she's checking to see if you'll chase her. When she challenges you, she's seeing if you'll stay strong. It's not about playing games. It's about her instincts searching for stability. If you panic the moment she acts distant, or rush to explain yourself when she doubts you, you fail the test. Not because you care too much, but because you're showing fear. And fear is the opposite of attraction. But the man who stays calm, the man who doesn't flinch, he passes. And not just in words. He passes in a way that speaks directly to her unconscious mind. He shows emotional independence. The ability to stay balanced no matter how she acts. That earns respect. That makes her want to be valued by you instead of assuming your approval is guaranteed. Because deep down, every woman knows, if a man can't handle his own feelings, how can he possibly handle hers? This is why neediness is such a deal-breaker. It doesn't just kill attraction. It sets off alarm bells. A man who revolves around a woman's life shows he has nothing else going on. No purpose. No path of his own. And no woman wants to be the entire purpose of a man's life. She wants to join a man who is already on a journey. Not be the reason he exists. Your role isn't to beg for her attention. Your role is to live a life that naturally shows your value. So how do you become the one who is truly desired? Start by developing real depth. Learn skills. Build passions. Chase goals that have nothing to do with impressing women. Then, build boundaries. Boundaries that show self-respect, not walls that push people away. And finally, be willing to walk away the moment someone treats you as an option. Not as revenge, but because you know what you deserve, and you won't settle for less. This part is critical. When you're ready to let her go instead of lowering your standards, the entire situation flips. Suddenly, she's the one thinking, how do I keep him? Understand this. Power in any relationship doesn't come from who acts like they care less. It comes from who has more going on in their life. Not just in terms of other romantic options, but in terms of purpose. The man who is focused on meaningful goals, who is surrounded by strong friendships, who is driven by something bigger than chasing approval, that man will always have the upper hand. Not because he's playing games, but because he is complete on his own. And that sense of being whole, that's what draws her in. That's what makes her want to be a part of your story, not make you part of hers. Here's the secret you're not often told. Women don't fall for men who depend on them. They fall for men who push them to become better. Men who inspire. Men who challenge. Men who don't make them feel needed, but make them feel driven to grow. If you want to be that kind of man, stop chasing and start building. Stop begging and start becoming. Stop hoping for an invitation to her life. Create a life she hopes to be invited into. Now go out there and become the man she can't forget. The one who doesn't just talk value but lives it every single day.